Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. In this video I want to go over the lore of Avalon, and as a finale we're going to do a rematch against Odin, which is the very first leader of Avalon, because the first time I showed him I did not do him justice. I showed a very early game version, not difficult, and we just beat him up. So we're going to go against the difficult Odin, because I do think that Odin is not the hardest boss in the game, but he is very cool and he has a very neat spell that we want to get. But first we're going to read about Avalon. I will have time code stamps for everything, so jump to where you would like. But it's story time today. This is actually my favorite part of the game, is the story. I really enjoy it. So we go into lore, and we have unlocked everything about Avalon, so that is what we're going to read today. If there is a double up from something I did in a previous episode, I apologize. Again, I'll have the timestamp so you can jump around. So about Avalon. This is the Sorcerer's Guild. It was founded to undertake requests to kill monsters, known as Reaper's Quests. The guild dispatches its sorcerers far and wide to slay monsters that were once human. Essentially, it is an officially recognized body that deals in murder. All those who work for the guild obey what is known as the Sorcerer's Code. All monsters must be slain. It is believed that those who give in to greed and desire are bound to repeat their mistakes. The severity of the punishment is to match the sin of the beast. For these reasons, it is not permitted for sorcerers to save monsters. But it should not be forgotten that sorcerers are human too. Tormented by their duty, on occasion they offer salvation to the beasts they have been sent to kill. The guild tends to turn a blind eye to this. But should a sorcerer persistently violate the code, the guild is known to hire contractors. In such cases, they say that the sorcerer in violation will pay with his life. Avalon's base of operations is known as Camelot. The building's foundation consists of an over 1,000-year-old sentient tree known as a kobold. No kobold has ever grown as large as this one has, and since it seldom moves, most people mistake it for an ordinary tree. Camelot's origin can be traced back to the Olympian War fought between Romulus and the Druids. In the opening days of the Olympian War, a group of Druid sorcerers was being hunted down by soldiers of the Romulus. Seeking to hide from their pursuers, the sorcerers climbed up a giant kobold, taking it for a large tree. Ever since, the Druids who survived the war had used the tree as their base. Some hold that the kobold actively hid the fleeing sorcerers, but most deny this, for that would be a most inconvenient truth for the sorcerers, whose core belief is that all monsters are evil incarnate. Though the kobold is a monster, not once has a pact of extermination been issued against it. Perhaps the creature's mostly harmless nature explains why, but more likely the special place it occupies in the history of the Druids has spared it. Camelot is moved at times by controlling the giant kobold. This is done to prevent the Romulus Empire from locating it. Though the war ended long ago, relations between the two peoples remain strained and complicated. Pacts of slaughter against monsters are issued by Camelot. Written on scrolls, they are carried to lands near and far by special crows. There are also many sorcerers coming and going, but the only key guild officials actually live in Camelot. Avalon's guildmaster, Persapius, lives on the top floor. Persapius is the title given to the master of Avalon and ranking member of the guild. The current master is the guild's 13th. While successors to the post are for the most part male, there have been a number of female guild masters in the past. The one named Persapius is said to have control over the laws of sorcery, and only to him is the Ars Magica bequeathed. Within that book of sorcery are recorded all the spells that have ever been cast. The Ars Magica even contains ancient spells that are no longer in use. And since new spells are being discovered each day, Persapius is quite busy with daily updates to the book. No one has ever been able to count how many spells it holds. Successors to the Guildmaster's post must remember that the title of Persapius pales in importance to this book, for it is a work steeped in the history of the Druids. One might even call the Ars Magica a collection of all the Druids' knowledge, and as such, guarding it for the next generation is one of the Guildmaster's most crucial tasks. The one named Persapius is unlike other sorcerers and never goes to battle. He is always under heavy guard and rarely appears in public. While most sorcerers have heard the name Persapius, they have never seen the man himself. Only a few sorcerers are ever granted an audience. Pacts of slaughter are issued in Persapius' name, but this is a mere formality, for the sheer number that are issued makes it impossible for him to verify each and every one. According to existing texts, Avalon's founding member was Persapius I. He is said to have been a man of extraordinary intellectual curiosity who had learned every spell there was. It was Persapius I who first conceived of the Ars Magica late in his life. He wished to leave the vast store of sorcerous knowledge he had mastered in his life to later generations. Driven by an intellectual thirst that could not be quenched simply by collecting spells, he also compiled all manner of learning from around the world. He was said to have read day and night, which leads to claims that no one had ever seen him sleep. It is said that he often uttered the word omnipotent, and while no clear record remains, some say he was seeking to become an almighty being, or in other words, a god. Mortals could never approach the realm of the gods, for there was a limited store of knowledge they could memorize. The human mind is just too small to know everything there is about the world. Though keenly aware of mortal man's limits, Persapius I would not give up his quest for omnipotence. Memories are amassed in the mind. If they can no longer fit there, the brain, that reservoir of the mind, must be expanded. And so it was he expanded the region capable of retaining memories by making other parts of his body function like the brain. His arms, his legs, and even his chest were transformed into brains. But in doing so, these parts of his body lost their intrinsic functions, so that it was as if he no longer had them. Even still, he could not learn all there was to know about the world by dictating most of his body to memory. That led him to go beyond his own body. Persapius I had a horse named Sleipnir, which he greatly cherished. In an effort to expand his mind, he fused his head to the horse's body. He was then able to use Sleipnir's brain to store his own memories. So it was he expanded his memory beyond his own body, but little by little he lost all self-control. He began abducting talented sorcerers and forcing them to become external receptacles of his mind. When those around him learned of this, they branded Persapius I a monster driven by the lust for knowledge. The Sorcerers Guild rose up en masse against the fiend, who had now been named Odin. At great cost of life, they managed to drive out the wicked creature that had once been the founder far from Avalon. It is said Odin set off for lands far to the east. By some accounts, he was seeking new knowledge that couldn't be found there, but no one really knows. The grooming of the one who will be named Persapius begins before birth. It starts with an impregnated sorceress sacrificing monsters time and time again. In doing so, a price is exacted upon the unborn babe through the umbilical cord. The memories residing in the mother's right arm take residence in the child's arm as well. In short, the child is born with the memories of others in his mind. Children born in this manner will mature quickly and be highly intelligent from the start. More than a few speak their first words soon after birth. This quickly maturing child is known as a Muninn. Muninn is the one who is destined to be the successor of Persapius. The woman chosen to bear the child Muninn is known as Huginn. The one named Huginn must bear the child who will become Persapius, willingly or not. Once the mother Huginn is with the child, she is confined to the fortress of Valaskjaf, where she will bear the child Muninn under heavy guard. It is Huginn's fate to make a terrible sacrifice while giving birth to Muninn. She must utter the words, "I sacrifice all memory of my child." And she must say that at the height of her birthing pains. Through this sacrifice of something irreplaceable to her, does the child gain memory without equal. The Persapius successor must receive a certain something from his predecessor. Without an exceptional memory, the ritual will not be completed. After giving birth to Muninn, the mother Huginn will return to being an ordinary sorcerer, as if nothing had happened, and the child Muninn will be reared by a wet nurse, without ever knowing his own mother's face. The actual book known as the Ars Magica no longer exists. It was likely lost long ago to the ravages of time. There would be nothing more perilous to the world than its misuse at the hands of one other than a Persapius, so it had to be kept somewhere where no one else could lay hands upon it. And thus the idea of placing the Ars Magica inside the mortal mind was conceived. It now only exists within the brain of the one named Persapius. It has become known as the collection of all memories handed down from Persapius to Persapius. Of particular note is how the Ars Magica is passed on, for the successor must take in a massive store of memories equal to thousands upon thousands of books. This exchange of knowledge is only possible between sorcerers. The new Persapius must sacrifice his predecessor, taking the old guildmaster's soul into his right arm, along with all the memories that had been perpetuated thus far. Upon assuming the title of Persapius, oft-times the guildmaster is said to become quite forgetful, but there's a good reason behind this. His memory has been restricted from learning anything new. Human memory has limits, and when filled to excess, something therein must be discarded. So it is that the men called Persapius have been preserving past memories by forsaking new memories. This is likely a form of what are known as black rites. When memories are no longer being replaced, something strange happens. Bodily change is slow and the aging process itself all but ceases. The life of a Persapius is perhaps more impassive than any other sorcerer, though he may live longer. Even the most important personal memories must be forsaken for the sake of the appointed task, for he is but a living vessel for his predecessor's memories. And of course we've read about Alice and the Grimoire. But that is about Avalon, which I thought was very interesting. Now let's go on and face Odin in true form, because again, Odin has a few different versions that you can fight, but the one that we did before was a really weak version, and that just has not been sitting well with me. So let's go to Additional Packs X. This was the DLC that they released with Odin. There's a very easy version of him, a pretty easy version, and then the version of him, which is 15. The difference between like a extreme rank 12 to 15 is quite big, especially in terms of HP. Luckily we're using a very optimized endgame set, so this should be pretty easy, but you'll be able to see more of the monster and how cool he is. So, we will be fighting off on the deciding grounds. Let's go over and see what rumor I got in here. Yeah, so one of the harder things to do with Odin, and you know, maybe I'll handicap myself because I don't want to make it too easy. But one of the harder parts of him is breaking all of his parts, because he has a spear that he swings all over the place and it's very hard to hit. But the tip of the spear is one of the parts that you need to break in order to break all his parts. And when you break all his parts, you're guaranteed to get a very special spell from him, which I'll show after the fight. I already have the spell, so I'm going to go ahead and disadvantage myself here by taking off the rumor. But if you ever need to get rumors, just go over to the bazaar, head over to Aurex the Whisperer, hear rumors, and then just give him a gold or black spell. Doesn't matter which one, just give him something you have extra lying around, and he will give you random rumors, which are like meal skills. So let's see if we can get one. Bahamut appears, that's nice. Alright, Calm Arc Fiends will lower the HP. It's like Feline Weakener in Monster Hunter. Here we go. See, all packs effect weaken cursed part L. So that will allow you to cause the cursed parts to be much weaker, so that they're much easier to break. Very good. So if we wanted to, we could put one or even two of those rumors in here to ensure that we get the part that we want. I love the fact that the game offers you these different ways to make it more or less difficult for yourself. So you're never locked out from getting something that you want to grind. There are ways to get around it. However, we're going to do something fun, and we're not going to do that. For this build, I am using something that I just made the other day. This is a known build that was shared throughout the community years ago, but this is the Blitz Build. Blitz is a special type of magic that Sanctuarium members can use. It's where you basically lunge your body, sort of like a cannonball, at the monster, and then you can press some additional inputs to hit them like 2 to 5 times, like boom, 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 boom. So basically you become like a human cannonball. Cool thing about the Blitz spells though is that they do work with elements, armor of the same element, and if you have them on, it allows you to do a hold attack after the first one, which does like incredibly, like 4 times more damage. However, it does expel and use your armor. I messed up here. I actually should be using the gold armor. I don't actually need it to be black because I'm using it as sort of like gunpowder for these. And the gold one would have more casts. But I went ahead and I upgraded everything, so I still need to go back and get some gold ones and fix that. We are going to be using the Starveling's Fruit, which is plus 200 attack. The Healing Bloom will not override this, and it will heal everyone around us, which is great, and we do have a shield. So if we ever want to, since we'll have armor on of ice or frost, we can also summon a very large shield for countering, knocking down enemies, or just regular attacks as well. It's a very fun build that I've been working very hard at getting all of these correct sigils for. So you see here the reason why we're running 58 life and 42 magic is because this is the very minimum amount of life you need to have Divine Arm 4, so 58. So we have our attack as high as we can get it while retaining this because we get these bonuses. If we're using Divine Arm 4 or above, we can get stuff like an additional 75% up damage. For this one, an additional 85%. So you see this stuff adds up really fast. And of course, because we're using the Sanctuarium seal, I don't have the final one yet. This is the one right before the final one. We also get a Residence active. And then I did get this base amp 500 for health with 50% attack up and defense of 5%. You can actually hit L on this screen to get a sort of overview of everything. One of the things is the Blitz Magic makes one of the the negatives of the skill is that it will make throw magic weaker, but that's okay because throw magic is more of a grim thing anyways, and we weren't going to use it, so no big deal. Got lots of health, good amount of recovery, and a good amount of defense, so we're going to be really solid. And we are using the Heart Sigil, so if you sacrifice all 100 levels to go back to level 1, you can go ahead and get a sigil. There's a whole bunch of them for all the different types of spells, and I've done that 4 times now for Blitz. It goes all the way up to 10, which is 160% damage up. But as long as I'm Sanctuarium, I get Blitz, and right now I'm at level 4, so that's 125% up. So it all adds up very fast, and it's very fun. That's called the Rite of Transmutation. We can go ahead and we can sack it, and we can get one of many different types. Okay, enough blabbing, let's go on. I do actually want to make this a little even more harder for myself because, you know, it'd be fun to have a challenge. So I'm going to take Iridian, who is my other healer, and I'm going to remove her. So we only have Sympatha with us. Sympatha, of course, is like the god healer of this game. She is very hard to kill. She's got 2 very good healing spells, and she's got all the different elements, and she's just, you know, Divine Arm 5, which means her healing power is very strong, and her defense is very high. She doesn't do a lot of damage, though. That's okay, because that's what we're here for. One thing I like about Persapius the First is that you don't actually get to kill him. He has become kind of like a god, so he just disappears at the end. So there's no sacrificing or saving. Besides, lore-wise, it wouldn't make sense, right? If you could sacrifice him, 1, your brain would explode because he's got too much knowledge, and 2, you'd become him. So my guess is that for Persapius II, they decided to just... They couldn't possibly retain everything that this guy had, so they just took whatever books they had and started from there, and then they just worked within the realm of human memory, so to say. But you know, the tricks that they were doing with like the childbirth in order to expand their memory, so some weird life hacks by the druids. Odin is not the little crow with the cool little top hat. That's the little fiends, the ghouls. Alright.
I shall save this impure world.
Mm-hmm. Purify me, girl. And you see there's books and there's brains on the chest of the horse. It's so Bloodborne-esque, isn't it? Okay, let's get it on. So we'll start out, obviously, by buffing our attack. This is going to be a lot harder without all the 2 NPCs, because with 2 NPCs or human players, he will be much more attracted to hunting them down than me, which is nice. So put on our armor. And when you do a blitz spell, you just hold down a direction like on the left analog stick, and you can sort of aim where you're going for. So if I hit him from this end, I'm not going to be able to hit the spear, if you see. So we got his right arm, the brain of the horse, and his spear to go for. Let's go for the horse to start. We'll use up our armor. Ooh, can we get that? No, we missed it. Yeah, his spear is really tough. I shouldn't go for it unless I know I have a really good opening. But if you're on the other side, you can always hit Persapius' arm. And every time I get the opportunity, I am going to be saving these little fiends, because when I do, it recharges 2 uses of all my spells, which is going to be important so I don't run out. There is a distance actually on that, so you can't just do that from afar. You see those vines? If we heal him, we can make these explode and we'll get a big down. So again, we'll go for the staff. Oh, he turned away. What a punk. Okay, so we broke the horse's brain. So let's get Persapius's right arm, shall we? Why do you get down from the horse? Oh wait, you can't. Loser. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't put on my armor. Let me show you what the shield does. It's really funny. It's like huge because it's, and it doesn't even work against his spells, of course. This is Persapius we're talking about. Sheesh. If I did not have the defense I had, like if I was playing Avalon, I'd be dead. With like one hit of that spear, you'd be dead. It's quite powerful. So let me go over here and try to epic shockwave the tip of that spear. Oh, he keeps turning his back to me. What a punk. Oh, this is good. We got some damage in here. Shields are really strong in this game. Don't sleep on them. Okay, let's get our let's get more aggressive.
We must retreat.
Too far away? No, we barely got it. Yeah, again, he's not meant to be the hardest boss in the game. He's just interesting given the lore and everything behind him. I just cancel him out of his finisher. That's great. Oof. So he has a very cool black right, which he'll do during this fight, which will take nearly all of our health. I don't know what happens if you are not playing Sanctuarium. Like, it must do so much damage. He must be a one-hit kill. Oh, here he goes. Is he coming soon? Oh, shoot. My wonderful dodging technique, since I cannot talk and play at the same time. Mad respect to the streamers that can do that. He's got an opening. Ouch. I will tank it. The whole point of this build is to be a tank. Okay, I have to make sure I do not use my Circle 1, otherwise I will lose it. Charge it up. He's going to go on his magic tour, as I call it. He's just be circling the arena, throwing out all sorts of different elemental magic. You could chase after him, but it can get kind of stressful, so I'll just let him ride it out. He's got the zoomies. Playing the park. It's actually much easier to deal with him, I find, in this arena because it's circular. For the other ones, it's like he starts running around, you're like, where's he going? You have no idea. Man, I keep missing the tip of that spear. Yeah, I missed it again, see? Wow, so okay, so Blitz is a little hard to hit that spear. I think we need to get on the first shot here. Yeah, that seems to be the best. Just let, whoops, just let it come accidentally. Let's help her get the down. Let's quick get the Ivy. We gotta get it healed up. She's healing it. Heal, heal. Heal will grow the Ivy. Get it. Okay, we're not gonna charge up. We're just gonna, whenever we get it down like that, we'll just use regular hits. Okay. So I do need to reload my spells, so let's unlock on him. These areas here will be recharge spots. Okay.
I'm struggling. Could you help me?
Oh, is he doing it? Okay, here he goes. Watch his black right. Throws his spear up in the air. Boom. And it's going to rain everywhere. It probably does a fixed amount of damage. I'm guessing. It's such a cool spell that you want to get, and you only get it as a rare drop for breaking his parts, or you get it as a guaranteed drop if you break all of his parts. That's why we want to break his parts. But even if we don't, we'll be okay. I've been whiffing quite a bit, so. These little, like, things get in the way all the time in this match. Can be a little annoying. Let's pump up the heat a little bit. Okay, so we got his spear. So all we need now is to get on his other side and get that weird little tentacle arm of his, which we can do. That should be easier than the other one.
These wounds, I barely feel them. Salvation is at hand for this beast.
So I'm gonna get on this side. Oh, she's about to get the down. Let's get the down. Let's help out. No, he lost his Ivy. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I really do want to experiment and make an Ivy build and test it out, where you heal them after putting this like parasite magic on them, and then it does this like massive damage. But I know that they do get increased defense afterwards, so I'm a little curious how that's gonna work out. Whether or not you can actually that rock get in my way. No, that's his spear end. We don't want that. Come on, break. Oh, man. And he's almost dead. Oh, this is not good. We need to aim better. For the money. No, why'd you move? What a punk. Okay, it's okay. We got those shots. He's gonna probably fall over. His horse is tired. I do need to charge though. There we go. All parts. Now for fun, let's do a black right against him. Make it fun. Set our body on fire. Odin doesn't have any actual weakness. He takes the same damage no matter what the element is, which is nice actually.
Salvation, as much as victory.
Ooh, I take double damage now, but he's like almost dead. Money shot. Oh no, I missed. And he missed. We're all missing. Oh, can she get the heal on? No, 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 the vines went away. She gave up. She didn't commit. Sympathy. Oh, she got it up again. Come on. Oh, he died. Killed him with a heal spell. Again, he doesn't actually die. He just sort of dissipates because he's kind of like a god. If you see all those pages, it reminds me a lot of the test arena. Like the ground of it. It seems like the papers of all of his books, which is pretty cool. So that was Odin. Again, not the hardest hunt in this game by any means, but just really cool because of all the lore behind him. So hopefully that showed him off better than when I showed it last time. 10 minutes, oof. If I was being aggressive and I had another NPC, the fight would be, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So not a bad idea. So the Founder's Scrap, I'll show you what those two do. But we got everything that we wanted to get, which is great. Persapius. If you watched the story, interacting with Persapius was a really fun moment. Because he looks like such a mean, like, badass, but he's actually just a really jolly, nice old man. Seems like he'd be like the coolest grandpa. So let's go into the training room. I'll show you why you might want to hunt Odin. Okay, so that's Odin's Founder's Scrap build. I call it the Bug Zapper because it will just sit there and it will zap monsters that come near it. So this is very, very convenient for just crowd control or leveling up really fast. And here is his spear. Check this thing out. Isn't that cool? I think it does like 12 hits. But it's pretty wide, so you want to use that against like really big enemies like slimes or trolls or something like that. Or harpies. But it's just really cool. It is medium to long distance, so you have to be very careful about your distance. Otherwise, you could just whiff and not hit anything. So if you notice there, like small monsters, not a good spell for. Right about here. So just a little bit outside of what you would call like mid-distance, which would be like here. So a little bit further back, just a little tidbit would be what you need for Odin's spear. Gleipnir, or whatever it's called. Oh man, the whiffage. Let's read the descriptions. Magic of Odin allows limited use of Black Rite Gungnir. And Founder's Scrap, Magic of Odin summons a book that auto-fires homing projectiles. One thing I have not looked at a lot in this game, but I just saw it the other day actually on Twitter, was there's extended descriptions of spells in the Ars Magica that I've never read. So let's go check out what those two are. Dark Souls I credit with making item descriptions good again. Other than that, it's always been really boring functional explanations of stuff. But that game really steps it up. So let's see, we want to go over both of his spells. Luckily are other, so they're all in the same category. And they're also for Avalon, of course. There we go. So, Founder's Arms, an imitation of Odin's weapon. Boasting power almost comparable to a Black Rite, it's a mighty boon to any aspiring sorcerer. So it's just an imitation. We probably just took what we had to show it to somebody to make. So it's not quite as powerful, but it is pretty powerful. And then the Scraps, which I always thought was a weird name, Scraps. So Founder's Scrap, a scrap of a memorandum written by Odin, so as not to forget. However, who's to say he remembers writing it? Okay, if that's not a weird brain freeze right there as I try to think about what they're saying. So the reason why I found that the Ars Magica had funny descriptions is because somebody was commenting about the Cinderella item and the fact that it's a real item description in a video game because it's so funny. So it's called Ballroom Claw. A glass fingernail from Cinderella used to attract the prince. She later turned her legs into glass, but it was the smell of feet he liked. Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? So yeah, we'll start looking at some of these item descriptions as I go through some of the bosses we haven't seen yet. But we won't go through all of them, but it is pretty fun. Anyways, that is today's video, going over Odin. In the next one, I will pick another monster we haven't seen yet, probably Gigas or someone like that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed revisiting this cool monster and also learning about Avalon. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any things that you want to particularly see. And in the next video, I'll be showing off a different build as well. I'll try to make this a regular thing so you can get a really fun idea of the breadth of gameplay that's possible in Soul Sacrifice Delta. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, happy hunting.